Your child's behaviour is driven by their unmet needs. So if your child, and to be clear, we're talking about the neurotypical child here, if your child is displaying behaviours that are out of character for them and undesirable in your view, then we need to look at where their needs are not being met. So the first and most basic needs that every human, not just children, need are our basic physiological needs. So we all need food to eat, we need water to drink, clean water to drink, we need clean air to breathe in, we need warmth, and we need sleep and rest. And most times, actually, you'll find that behaviours are displayed when one of these needs are not being met. So your child might be hungry and they're displaying a behaviour. They might not have had enough sleep, or they might need to sleep and they display a behaviour. I'd go as far as to say that some people probably underestimate the need that we have for clean water to drink. So a lot of people are not drinking enough water and they're not giving their children the amount of water that they need every day. So there is probably an element of not drinking enough water and behaviours being displayed on some level there. So the next level of need that everybody, including children, has is safety and security. So feeling safe and secure in your environment. This includes things like your health, personal security, emotional security, and financial security. So more in terms of children, health and emotional security. If a child is homeless or has experienced homelessness, there can be a link between that and undesirable behaviour. If a child is experiencing or has experienced trauma, domestic violence, feels scared within their own house, is uncomfortable, experiences racism, anything like that where they don't feel safe and secure, their need for safety and security is not being met, and you may see some behaviours start to be displayed. So I think if we pause at this level of needs, the safety and security, and just take a scenario on board. So just say you have a child who is displaying behaviour, they're graffiti, or they're doing something in the community that is out of character for them, and you really have no idea why they're suddenly doing things like this. Then you can look at these needs and you can try and pinpoint where their needs aren't being met. So look at their eating. If they have food, they have water, they get enough sleep at night, and they have clean air to breathe. Like, that's probably being met. The next level, as we just spoke about, would be that safety and security. So you'll find a lot of children who don't feel safe if they're scared in their own house. Domestic violence, physical, not just physical, but also verbal abuse can make children feel very scared. Then perhaps we need to think about if that is linked to their behaviour. And a lot of people, interestingly enough, think that that's where the needs of a child stop, or even before that, at the physiological needs. So I know quite a few people who think, I've fed my child, I've given them water, and sometimes not even. They have a bed to sleep in, and that's enough. That's all they need. They go to school, and that's all they need. Well, no, that would be a case of your child surviving and not thriving. They're not having their needs met, and then they're going to display behaviours that you're wondering, where are these behaviours coming from? And it's probably on that level we just talked about of the safety and security. So if you are not emotionally regulated and you don't know how to interact with your child, then that need is not being met. If they are scared of you, they don't feel safe and they don't feel secure. That need is not being met. The next level of need above that, so once those needs are all met, the next level is a sense of belonging. So social belonging and love. And this doesn't have to be a big circle. This can just be your small little unit, your family, friendships, intimacy, trust, love, and acceptance. So having some sort of family structure in place. It doesn't necessarily matter who, but it could be, some children live with their grandparents, but having that sense of family, having a few friendships, doesn't have to be a lot, feeling like they belong and feeling accepted is a huge need for some people. And it's a need that is stronger in some people more than others. And now we have the need for esteem. So the first, it's broken up into two parts. There's esteem and then there's self-esteem. And the first part is esteem. So feeling like you are regarded and recognized by other people. Feeling like you have attention from people. So you may notice that your child or other children are constantly seeking your attention. And some children just have a higher need for attention, or they feel like their need for attention is not being met. So this is where their need might not be being met, and you might need to question how you're meeting that need for their attention. So that was esteem, and now it's self-esteem. So having self-confidence, self-respect, mastery, independence, freedom. They're the goal. They're the needs that you want to meet. And the way to have that need met in children is that you must, as a parent, and this is so, so important, you must provide your child with opportunities for them to recognize that they have the capacity within them to achieve things. So if they never have that opportunity, then they never learn, they never discover things about themselves. They never think, oh, I can do that. And they never believe in their own capacity to do things. And that's called self-efficacy. So it is your responsibility as a parent to give them opportunities to develop their self-efficacy. And it takes 4 things to develop your self-confidence. So it's only one part out of 4 for you to tell your child that you believe in them and you have confidence in them. The other 3 parts are intrinsic, so they need to come from the child themselves. And that's what giving them the opportunities does. It creates that opportunity for them to learn and to recognize their own success and to develop that sense of confidence within themselves. And when they have that sense of self-confidence, they then become more independent. So they think and they do things for themselves more. And as parents, this is one of our ultimate goals, obviously. We're raising our children to become independent adults that can live in this society. None of this is easy. It might be simple, it might be easy to talk about and to just say it like, these are the needs, this, that, these are the next needs. But that doesn't make it easy. So if you are the type of parent who has met all of these needs, you deserve a lot of commendation. I mean, that's excellent. If you haven't done this and you don't know anything about this, then don't blame yourself too much. It's all about educating yourself and becoming a better parent for your child. There is no blame here. So as a parent, you've met the basic needs, just going through the checklist now. You've fed them, you've given them water, clean air to breathe, warmth, they have a bed to sleep in, they get enough sleep, they have a safe and secure environment, they're as healthy as their body allows. And you have then met their need for social belonging and love. They feel accepted, they have a family unit, they have a few friendships. Doesn't have to be a lot, remember. They have esteem from you, they're recognised, they get attention, and you have given them opportunities to learn and develop their own self-esteem and their own self-confidence. So now we arrive at their cognitive needs. So their creativity, their curiosity, and their need to learn. Becoming educated, it doesn't have to be maths, English, spelling, it's not just that, but learning anything, learning about the environment, learning anything that is new knowledge. It's not just some people want to do that and some people don't. It is an innate need that we all have. So if you think about like a lot of different people that that you've come across, some people do have a higher need. And that's the case with all of these needs, except for the basic physiological ones. Some people have a higher need for belonging. You can think about some people have a higher need for attention. They just feel like they have that need more. And other people have a higher need for cognitive learning. So you think about the type of people at school or at work who love brainstorming, who love getting together and thinking of new ideas. These are the type of people who have a high cognitive need, and they have that intrinsic motivation to learn. So I guess that one is sort of a simple one. Like if you're sending your child to school on school days, then that need is most probably being met. I mean, it is good to back that up. When you're spending time with them, they need you to spend time with them. And you could teach them anything, whatever you want to teach them about plants in the garden, about the needs of a pet, about reading a book. Even if you're watching a documentary and you're teaching them about whatever is on TV, it's all meeting their cognitive need. So the next level of needs are aesthetic needs. So having the need to appreciate beauty in nature and connect with nature. Connecting with nature and the world's beauty. So this is not something that everybody appreciates. Some people don't have as high of a need as others, but I find it interesting that the older people get, the more they appreciate the world around them. And I think that's because we might not all necessarily have all of our needs met when we're young, but it's more of a like, most of the time for most people in our society, their physiological needs are met. They do feel safe and secure as adults, but then it's like step by step they reach this level of need. They reach their own level of self-confidence, and now they're connecting with their aesthetic need. Self-actualization. So we are at the peak of human nature here. This is the peak of potential, wanting to achieve your full potential. So there's a quote that I really like, and I'll put in the caption who it's by. I can't remember at the moment. But what a man can be, he must be. And I think that is an awesome quote, and it really encapsulates the self-actualization needs. So realizing your full potential. And this is the ultimate goal, I think, for your child. You want, everybody has different gifts and different talents, but you want for your child, for them to make the use of their full potential. So, a child making the most of their potential, but also you wanting to be the most successful parent that you can be, or somebody wanting to be the most successful athlete that they can be, or the most successful person, or the most successful that they can be in their field, whether it be like as a scientist, a doctor, anything, whatever field that they're in. That's what self-actualization is all about. And you think about a lot of people who are constantly trying to achieve their full potential. And I know there's people out there who look at them and they think, why are they not just satisfied with what they are? Why are they always trying to pursue this bigger goal? And that's because they've had all their other needs met, and now they're trying to meet their need of self-actualization. They're at that level. So to understand this level of need, to understand self-actualization at all, you not only need to meet all of those other previous needs, but you need to master them. So this is not an easy need to meet. It's not even an easy need to understand. So if you're listening to me and you have no idea what I'm talking about, then you might need to backtrack and look at what other needs you haven't met in yourself. Because all those other little needs, they're the little SMART goals. They're the little steps in this ultimate huge goal of self-actualization. And the final need, the top of the pyramid here, this is a pyramid, is transcendent needs. So this might be a bit hard to achieve in children, but it is possible. And when I think about other children that I went to school with, I can almost place all of them at some different level on this pyramid. And there's definitely children that were like right up there. And I used to question, why do they have this sense of wanting to pursue goals and wanting to achieve things without their parents forcing them or pressuring them to do that? Because I had a sense of that, but I could see that more within those children themselves without an external force. So yeah, transcendence needs. So once you've had all those needs met in your child, in yourself, but we're speaking about children here and their behaviours, let's not get too off track, you find yourself wanting to give back. So you may have always questioned what possesses people to, care so much about giving back to their community. But this is a transcendent need. So now all your needs have been met, and you can transcend out of yourself, out of your own little bubble of need, and give back. So giving back to your community, giving back to nature, animals, the planet, giving back to anything external once all your needs have been met. And this is when you start to feel a sense of integrity. So this integrity comes from meeting transcendent needs, giving back, having all of your needs met, and now having the need to give back to your community, give back to anything external. So if you think about a lot of people that you might know that have a high sense of integrity, it's because they have done the work, or their parents have done the work to have their needs met, and they are now at this level of need where they have felt the sense of wanting to give back, and they have a good sense of integrity. The purpose of my video is not to spout all this information at people and for people to start blaming themselves for not doing enough. I feel mum guilt daily, hourly, and it is such a strong feeling. But the thing is, I think this is more about education. So a lot of people may not know all of this. So now if they hear anything in this video and they think, I want to know more about that, and they go and look that up and learn something and try and integrate that into their life and their relationship with their child, well, then that's all this is about. Just simply getting to know things that you might not know already. And I think one of the main reasons I make a video like this one is for groups of people in our society, so my group and other groups, Aboriginal people, people who have come from living in war, people, other groups of vulnerable people. They have, up until now, and including now, just been surviving. So when we are in survival mode, when our children are just surviving, when our parents and grandparents were just surviving, they didn't have enough food, they didn't have shelter, they were exposed to horrible environments with racism, not having shelter, not having that safety and security, that's just survival. And survival is a massive, massive achievement. I mean, like, just one example, Aboriginal people, survival day. We survived all of that through our parents, our grandparents, their parents, and the rest of our ancestors. The fact that we're still here today, surviving. So surviving all of that, not having safety, not being secure, that traumatic environment, and struggling to just get through that, surviving. But I think for most people that I know in my community, in my daughter's father's community, we are now at the point where we're the generation that can now take it to the next level and thrive. We no longer need to just survive. It's up to us to start thriving. So just in summary, if you have a child that is displaying behaviour that's really out of character for them, or it might not necessarily be out of character for them, but behaviours in the neurotypical child, remember, they come from somewhere. It's not just like they felt like, one-off, maybe they felt like doing this, but these behaviours come from needs not being met, and that's where we need to examine the basic needs. Do they have enough food? They might be hungry. As we said, they might be dehydrated. They might not have had enough sleep. They might need to get to sleep. If not, then you can examine your home environment. Do they feel safe and secure? Am I exposing them to something that's not making them feel safe? Do they feel fear? Are they exposed to domestic violence, trauma, homelessness, not feeling like you have security in the current housing market, which is more relevant to the adults? But again, children hear things and they may know this. That may affect. Then if you've ticked all those boxes, look at that next level. That next level of the sense of belonging and the need for love, and look at your family structure. Are they developing friendships and have friendships in place? Do they feel like they belong? Do they feel accepted? And if you've ticked all those boxes, then look at the esteem. Do they feel like they have a sense of regard and recognition from you, from their peers, from their teachers, people in the community? That's not always easy to do because we can't control how other people treat us or our children, but we can do that ourselves. And then if they have that sense of self-esteem, so if we've given them the opportunities to learn and they develop that knowledge that they're capable and they have success and they develop self-confidence, then you've ticked that box and they have that need met. Looking at their cognitive needs, if that's being met, if you're sending them to school most days, hopefully every day, not including being sick and, emergencies or whatever. But if you're sending them to school, they're meeting their cognitive need. Keeping in mind that you do also have the children who have a higher cognitive need, or they might be intelligent, so the level of their schooling is not at the cognitive need that they have. So they might be learning at school, and you look at those children who are, they're pretty smart, intelligent, and they become bored because their cognitive need is higher than the level that they're at, and it's not being met. So we do also have to think about those children here. And that one's quite easy to pinpoint, really. Like, if you know your child is quite intelligent and has that will to learn and knows a lot, then you can pinpoint that need pretty easy, compared to some of these are very hard to pinpoint. So yeah, another thing that I wanted to say was that school itself is such an amazing environment for children to potentially have a lot of these needs met. So we're not talking about, issues with schooling, issues with bullies. I'm just saying that school has the potential to meet their cognitive needs, to meet their need for that sense of belonging and develop friendships, their social needs, their need for esteem from other peers and from teachers. I would almost say that your job as a parent could, it could just stop there. It never stops, but I mean, you could just, stop at that level of need. But I do think that there is a lot of benefit in meeting the need of a child to connect with nature. So we do live in an ecosystem, and we are a part of this ecosystem. Humans are not like the be-all, end-all of the world. We live in an ecosystem with other animals, and it all works together. The sun, the trees, photosynthesis, animals, food chain, all works together. And I think there is a lot that can be gained from children meeting their aesthetic needs and connecting with nature. And a note while I think of it that I wanted to say is, when you've reached all those needs and we get to the talking about self-actualization needs and making the most of your potential and pursuing goals, I think this is a huge one that could be really, really maximised within our Aboriginal community. So if we could potentially meet all of those needs in our own children, we can then do that as a community. So, giving them all their physiological needs, their basic needs, food, water, air, sleep, then giving them a safe and secure environment, we could then start to thrive. We could then, instead of saying, oh, I was good at this when I was at school, it doesn't end there. We can pursue our goals. Look at how many of our people are really, really talented. And this may not be as obvious to the outer community, but every Aboriginal person watching this will know what I mean when I say, you may know celebrities who have made it, and you can think about Josh Adokar, NRL player, other NRL players, Sam Side, Greg Inglis, they have pursued goals and they have made those huge achievements. But how many people do you know that were good enough to do things like that, but didn't get the opportunity to, or didn't take the opportunity to do it for whatever reason, because other needs weren't being met? And that's a big issue, I think. If you think about how many people I bet you there will be a family member in everybody's family where they had the talent and they had the skill, but they didn't make it. So if a child is displaying undesirable behaviour or behaviour that is out of character, just take a look at all of these needs that I've talked about today and see if any of them aren't being met. Or if they're not even displaying any behaviour and you're just curious about the needs that children have, then it's a great thing to go through and just educate yourself on anyway, so that you can, check off a list. You're probably already doing a great job. Most parents are. And I commend all parents that are doing a great job. You really should be proud of yourself. It is a tough thing to do. But yeah, I'm the type of person who's always looking for more ways to improve, because I think that's the self-actualization need in me, always looking for the next level, being a more successful parent. So that's it from me.